Okay, let's start first with everyone's least favorite topic, which is terminations. Talk us through a little bit about how a team can be prepared to go into a termination conversation and ultimately be as successful as possible.
Sure. I think that going into any termination, it's uncomfortable. No one likes to do it. No matter how deserving the employee may be of the termination, it's just uncomfortable. It's never, I don't think anyone looks forward to terminating people. But number one is just to have all of your ducks in a row. That's all the paperwork in hand to support the termination, so that you'll have your file ready. I think the next thing is just to practice. It's not natural. I don't care how many times you've had the conversation to tell someone that they no longer have a job with your company. It's nerve-wracking and it's hard, and we come to really enjoy these people. We especially in the small to medium-sized businesses, you get to know them and you get to know their families, and so these are never easy conversations. So I think practicing with your leadership team, and it just shows a level of respect for that person, and that you're not stumbling over your words, you're not talking over each other, that there is a clear plan to deliver a message. Termination should be very quick. That employee will want to leave as quickly as they can once they've been notified. And I think too that some companies have different policies of, should you allow this terminated employee to go back to their desk to gather their belongings? Are the belongings packed up for them and put into a box?
Yeah. Are they being escorted out of the building?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What's the plan once the message has been delivered? Employees will react. It's never fun news to get. And as leaders, we need to make sure that we're gauging this reaction so that it is an appropriate amount of time of reaction that will settle, go through the documents of saying, hey, let us know if your address changes. Here's when you're going to get your final paycheck. Your belongings have been boxed up, or we're going to walk you to your desk to pack your things. And also, I think that there's a strategy, if you can do it at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, and perhaps have the immediate team, or if your office is small enough to have people not be in the office at that time, it's an embarrassing situation.
Yeah.
And so I think that thinking past this person needs to be terminated, and we have all of the paperwork together, is thinking past that conversation of how are we going to manage their belongings? How are they going to be escorted out of the building or not? And then gauging their reaction.
And like you said, making it this awful situation kind of as least uncomfortable as possible. You're not in the all glass conference room where people are walking by and looking what's happening. Maybe you've prepared and you have a bottle of water and a box of tissues in there. Little things like that, aside from the big picture, documentation and strategy plan, probably can go a long way with helping that employee feel respected throughout the process.
Yeah, and 9 out of 10 times, an employee shouldn't be surprised, right? Unless it's a department layoff or some sort of situation where they truly would have had no idea because their position has been eliminated. If it's for performance, the employee will probably not be surprised. There will still be a reaction, but it might be one of even relief of just knowing like, oh, I've thought this was coming, or I'm glad that this has finally happened, so now I can move on. And unfortunately, I've been a part of many terminations, and sometimes they go well and it ends in a hug and a thank you. On to the next, upward and onward. And things like that. And I think that also being very clear in the termination process of saying, we do or we do not give references, that tends to be a point of contention that comes up with exited employees. Well, they'll call and say, hey, I need from my last supervisor a letter of recommendation for my new job. And most companies don't feel comfortable doing that for employees that we've terminated, because if they were terminated for for performance, a lot of people won't feel good backing them as they move forward.